All right, folks, gather round. Let's talk about recession, that word that makes economists shudder and your wallet cry. In the simplest terms, a recession is like the economy hitting a giant pothole. Suddenly, things aren't looking so rosy. Businesses close, people lose jobs, and that vacation you planned? Yeah, might have to swap it for a staycation. Technically, it's 2 consecutive quarters of negative economic growth, but who's counting, right? Just kidding, economists are definitely counting, with their calculators and fancy charts. The point is, a recession is a period of economic downturn. It's not a fun time, folks, but understanding it is the first step to fixing it. Remember when you could buy a gallon of milk without needing a small loan? Pepperidge Farm remembers. Sadly, inflation has other plans. Imagine your dollar is on a diet, but instead of losing weight, it's losing value. That means you need more dollars to buy the same things. Suddenly, everything is more expensive, and your paycheck is crying in a corner. In 2024, inflation has been a major party pooper. Supply chain issues, increased demand, and global conflicts have all contributed to prices skyrocketing faster than a SpaceX rocket. And no, you can't just print more money. That's like trying to solve a leak by pouring more water in. It just makes a bigger mess. Trade wars may sound like a bad sci-fi movie, but unfortunately, they're very real. Unlike the thrilling space battles of Star Wars, trade wars are fought with tariffs, sanctions, and economic policies. They might not have lightsabers or epic space chases, but the stakes are incredibly high. And just like in the movies, they involve a lot of fighting and no clear winners. The battles are waged in boardrooms, at international summits, and through heated debates on trade policies. The consequences ripple through economies, affecting everyday people. Imagine countries throwing tariffs, fancy word for taxes, on each other's goods like it's a game of economic dodgeball. Each tariff is a strategic move, aimed at protecting domestic industries, but often leading to retaliation. It's a back and forth that can escalate quickly. These tariffs increase prices for consumers and hurt businesses that rely on international trade. Shoppers find themselves paying more for everyday items, and small businesses struggle to stay afloat. The impact is felt in every corner of the economy. In 2024, trade tensions have been simmering like a pot of forgotten coffee. The longer these disputes go unresolved, the more they threaten to boil over, causing widespread economic damage. Disagreements over trade policies and economic sanctions have disrupted global trade flows, further fueling the recession. Supply chains are tangled, goods are delayed, and businesses face uncertainty. The global economy feels the strain. It's a classic case of, can't we all just get along? Despite numerous attempts at negotiation and peace talks, finding common ground remains elusive. The stakes are high, and the path to resolution is fraught with challenges. Apparently, in the world of international trade, the answer is a resounding nope. The complexities of global economics make it difficult for countries to see eye to eye, and the cycle of conflict continues. The hope is that one day, cooler heads will prevail, and a more cooperative approach will emerge. Remember the COVID-19 pandemic? Of course you do. How could we forget? Well, just like that awkward encounter at a party you wish you could erase from your memory, the economic impact of the pandemic is lingering like a bad smell. Lockdowns, supply chain disruptions, and decreased consumer spending created an economic hangover that we're still struggling to shake off in 2024. It's like trying to run a marathon after pulling an all-nighter. The pandemic exposed vulnerabilities in our globalized economy and left many countries reeling from the after effects. Think of it as the economic equivalent of trying to function on 3 hours of sleep and a diet of leftover pizza. Section 5. The domino effect, how it all spirals downward. Here's the thing about economic crises. They love company. One problem doesn't just sit politely in the corner, it invites all its friends over for a recession rager. Inflation leads to decreased consumer spending. Decreased spending leads to businesses struggling. Struggling businesses lead to layoffs. Layoffs lead to further decreased spending, and boom, you've got yourself a full-blown recession party, and nobody RSVP'd. It's like a chain reaction where each problem triggers another, creating a domino effect that's hard to stop. Think of it as the economic equivalent of tripping on a banana peel and taking down everyone in your path. Section 6. But wait, there's more. Other contributing factors. As if inflation, trade wars, and a pandemic hangover weren't enough, a few other factors have decided to join the recession party. Climate change, with its extreme weather events and disruptions to agriculture, has added another layer of complexity. It's like Mother Nature decided to spice things up by spiking the economic punch bowl. Geopolitical instability and conflicts around the world have also added fuel to the fire, creating uncertainty and volatility in global markets. It's like the world's economies are playing a game of Jenga, and someone just pulled out a really important block. Section 7. Case Study, the Housing Market Meltdown. Remember the good old days when buying a house wasn't a distant, impossible dream? Yeah, those were the days. In 2024, the housing market is experiencing a meltdown of epic proportions. Rising interest rates have made mortgages about as appealing as a root canal. Combine that with inflated housing prices, and you've got a recipe for disaster. It's a classic case of supply and demand gone wrong. Too many people want houses, and not enough affordable ones are available. It's like trying to find a parking spot in a city center on a Saturday night. Section 8. Laughter in the darkness, finding humor in recession. Okay, I know this is serious stuff, but sometimes you just gotta laugh, right? Humor can be a powerful tool, especially when times are tough. It helps us to see the lighter side of life, even when everything seems to be going wrong. Even in the face of a global recession, finding humor can be a coping mechanism, a way to release some of that pent-up economic anxiety. Laughter can break the tension, bring people together, and remind us that we're all in this together. It's a universal language that transcends financial woes. So what's the deal with airline food during a recession? It's like the airlines are trying to cut costs in the most obvious ways. Have you noticed how the meals have changed? Is it just me, or are the portions getting smaller? I mean, come on. I paid for a meal, not a snack. It's almost as if they're serving us appetizers instead of actual meals. It's like they're trying to save money by serving us individual peanuts. 1 peanut per passenger, please. Next thing you know, they'll be charging us for the air we breathe on the plane. And don't even get me started on gas prices. It's like every time I fill up my tank, I feel like I'm taking out a second mortgage. The prices are so high, it's almost comical. They're so high, I swear I saw a bicycle negotiating with a car for a parking spot. Can you imagine that? A bicycle trying to haggle with a car over who gets to park where? It's absurd, but it makes you laugh, see? It's not so bad when you can find a little humor in it, right? Laughter is a small but powerful way to make the tough times a bit more bearable. So, let's keep finding those moments of joy and sharing a laugh whenever we can. Section 9. So, are we doomed? Not necessarily. Despite the doom and gloom, it's important to remember this isn't the first time the world has faced a recession, and it won't be the last. While it's a bumpy ride, recessions are a natural part of the economic cycle. Think of it as the economy hitting the reset button, a chance to reassess and rebuild. The key is to learn from our mistakes, adapt to changing circumstances, and work together to find solutions. Remember, we're all in this together, folks. Section 10. What can we do? Time for a global group project. Imagine if the world was a classroom and we were all students working together to solve a massive problem. So, what can we do to get out of this mess? The economic crisis affects everyone, from large corporations to small businesses and even individuals. Well, it's time to channel our inner students and tackle this recession like a giant group project. Just like in school, teamwork and collaboration are key. Governments can implement policies to curb inflation, promote investment, and support struggling industries. They have the power to create a stable environment for growth. It's like being the designated driver of the group project, making sure everyone stays on track. They set the rules and guidelines to ensure success. Businesses can adapt to changing consumer behavior, innovate, and find new markets for their products and services. They are the ones who can pivot quickly and find new opportunities. By exploring international markets and diversifying their offerings, businesses can mitigate risks and seize new growth avenues. They're the creative ones, coming up with out-of-the-box solutions. Innovation is their strength, and they can lead the way in finding new paths to success. And us, the regular folks, we play a crucial role too. Our daily choices and actions can collectively make a big difference. We can be mindful of our spending, support local businesses, and make conscious decisions that benefit our communities. Educating ourselves about economic issues is vital. Knowledge empowers us to make informed decisions and advocate for better policies. We're the researchers, gathering information and spreading awareness. By staying informed and engaged, we can contribute to a more resilient and informed society. Section 11. The road to recovery. Bumpy, but not impossible. The road to recovery from a recession is rarely smooth. There will be bumps, detours, and maybe even a few wrong turns along the way. But by working together, making informed decisions, and maintaining a sense of optimism, we can navigate through these challenging times and emerge stronger on the other side. Remember, a recession doesn't last forever. It's like a bad case of the flu. It's unpleasant, but eventually it passes. And just like after a bout of flu, we'll come out of this with a renewed appreciation for economic stability and a stronger immune system to weather future storms.